Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it is Christmas Eve, so I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I want to talk to you guys about something that bothers me a little bit. This is something that Arnold Schwarzenegger used to call trying to chisel a pebble, that Martin Birkin called fuck-around-itis, and that a lot of very experienced lifters in the iron game, doesn't matter whether they're bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen, say things like people trying to major in the minors. And that is this idea that the majority of lifters out there, irrespective of what their goals are, and you generally see this more with physique-oriented lifters, people who want to look good at the beach or at the club is one of their largest training motivations, is this concept that you need more than the basics for at least the first 4 or 5 years that you're training. Or at least serious training, that you actually need to worry about refining individual heads of muscles when your whole damn body is tiny. You have no muscular development. You haven't spent 3, 4, 5 years up building a base with the basics. Now, magazines are guilty of this because if they put out a few effective routines, they would never sell another routine because they could put out 5 routines and they would never need to write another one for another 30 years. Because 99.9% of the population is not training to become a professional fitness model or a professional bodybuilder. They would need less than 10 exercises for the course of their lifetime to compete down at the amateur level successfully. And it's made worse even on YouTube now because you see YouTube channels coming out who really are trying to discuss science and anatomy, and there's at least 3 of them I've seen, and they come up with these silly ass lifts because they feel that you'll get a little better fiber recruitment in one muscle, and there's silly shit like one-armed lateral pull downs with a cable when literally 20 people in their audience could benefit from this out of the thousands of people there. Everyone else should be doing heavy-ass weighted pull-ups, barbell rows, and deadlifts to develop their back. They don't need this little new exotic lift. They just need the basics because they're only trying to win local bodybuilding shows. They're not trying to earn a pro card. And you saw Martin Birkin, when he got popular a while back, getting people into amazing shape. By normal society standards, these people look like gods. By bodybuilding standards, they look like shit. But doing 5 exercises. Arnold Schwarzenegger wrote an article, and he put up a list of the 7 exercises he felt that you needed to develop a good enough physique to win amateur level bodybuilding shows. 7 exercises. So it begs the question of why do all of these people feel that they need to find the most efficient cable exercise to recruit the long head of their tricep when they don't have a tricep? Or they're overly concerned about one particular head of the hamstring when their squat and deadlift are pathetic and they have toothpick legs. And what I mean is, if you're not squatting 400 pounds for a couple reps, you're not pulling at least 500 pounds on the deadlift, you can't stiff leg deadlift 400 pounds yet. And you're worried about a lagging possible head in your hamstrings, you have a case of what Martin Birkin is calling fuck-around-itis. You're worrying about things that do not matter. You have no foundation. If you're spending a lot of time worried about one particular head of your tricep being underdeveloped and you can't close grip bench press off your chest 225 pounds for 5 or 6 reps, and you're really worried about a lagging head of your tricep, you're fucking around. You're worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. You need to build a foundation first. You have no muscle base, no strength base. You don't need to worry about these things. Keep working on the basics for a couple of more years, 2, 3, 4, 5 more years. Then if you need to go back and work on these little minor weak points, work on them. But for the vast majority of you whose goals only include having the best physique at the beach, placing 3rd or 4th place at a local powerlifting meet, and maybe winning a small local bodybuilding show, if that's the extent of your competitive goals, you do not need anything but the basics. Sorry, you don't need anything else. You don't need any of this exotic stuff. But no one wants to tell you that because this whole industry will be out of business. Because again, we could write 4 or 5 routines. There would be less than a dozen exercises out there being used by anybody, just basic free weight stuff, and everyone would be out of business. because 99.99% of people who train could reach their goals doing this, as far as the training end goes. So remember, guys, this is something that's been talked about for years and years by many experts as one of the biggest problems is people overcomplicating these things, looking for lifts that they don't need, and stepping away from the basics when they have not spent enough years just building a basic foundation to even need to worry about these things or to even benefit from them. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot first. That's my Christmas bicep shot.